Hello, I'm Dr. Paul Zukoff, and I'd like to tell you about what's happening with the coronavirus infections. Today is July 30th. I am telling you this because the research and new information is changing very rapidly. Any information I'm giving today may be outdated by tomorrow. I'll briefly discuss the incidence of the virus in New Jersey and the rest of the U.S., how it is transmitted, and hopefully how to prevent it. Thankfully, the incidence of the virus in New Jersey is relatively low, but clearly there are people still getting new infections. Unfortunately, the incidence of the virus in many other states is much higher. This coronavirus will be with us for a very long time, so we cannot let down our guard. The virus is primarily transmitted through respiratory droplets. The air that I breathe out contains tiny droplets, so if I have the virus, someone who breathes in my droplets can catch it from me. There are more droplets in the air that I breathe out if I am speaking loudly or singing. The higher the concentration of virus particles that you are exposed to, the more likely you are to contract the virus. Transmission is highest in an indoor environment if you are less than 6 feet apart and not wearing a mask. There is no specific treatment available for a mild to moderate COVID infection. There are limited treatments for severe infections that require hospital care. So, the very best thing we can do is try to prevent the virus. One problem is there are many people who have the virus who have no symptoms, so they do not know that they need to isolate themselves. There is growing data that wearing any mask will significantly reduce the odds of a contagious person spreading the virus, and more recent data that a mask will provide at least some protection for the person wearing it. The level of protection is least for a simple bandana type mask, better with a 2 or 3 layer cloth mask, even better with a medical grade surgical type mask, and the best protection is with an N95 mask. The current data indicates that it is uncommon, though not impossible, to contract the virus by touching an infected surface. Having said that, it is still important to wash your hands often and avoid touching your face. So please, please, please wear a mask anytime that you are within 6 feet of another person, especially if you are indoors. Do your very best to avoid crowds. Again, this virus will be with us for quite some time. We are hoping for an effective vaccine, though that will probably not be available until early next year, at the earliest. We need to learn to live with this virus, since, even with the vaccine, we will not eradicate it. So, it is my recommendation to find safe ways to be with family and friends and to have fun. Stay tuned for future updates and stay safe.